This video guide has been created in order to assist users of Peripato Telematikos. The main concern is that the interface is built on a zooming metaphor and therefore is quite unusual and highly likely to be something that most users would not have experienced before. The reason for selecting this type of interface is covered in the texts, but very briefly it lends itself to a mapping application more so than any other types of interfaces that are available, and was used specifically for this purpose. Going through the main menu items, we'll see that one of the important buttons here is a Navigate Edit button. So when the application is first launched, it's in what's called edit mode, which means that I can manipulate individual items. If we select Navigate mode, then you can see that effectively I'm moving the virtual camera over the whole interface. So I'm no longer able to affect individual items, but I affect the content as a whole. Back to edit mode. Other issues with navigating this interface are the zooming capabilities. Zooming is accomplished with right mouse click and drag, or in the case of Mac users you must use the command key then the mouse click. So command key, mouse click, and then I drag very carefully. If I drag too fast, there's a chance that the whole content will disappear. So command key, left mouse click for a Mac. If I drag to the left, my interface zooms out. If I drag to the right, my interface zooms in. Sometimes situations can arise when we've zoomed in so far that we've lost track of our content. In order to resolve this, I have a God's eye view which pulls all the content so that it is visible in the one screen. Other awkward situations can arise when individual items of the interface are zoomed. So apart from zooming the whole interface, I can also zoom individual items. So now you can see we have an item down at the bottom here. If that gets any smaller, there's a chance that we will not be able to see it at all. So this is one thing to take care of. God's eye view, it appears that most of our content is here, but there is something in the bottom left hand corner. Oops. So that's one thing to be aware of. At times, if this can't be seen, the easiest way I've found knowing that there is something there is to simply drag the marquee over the area and then select View Selected, and it will bring that item forward. Very quickly through the other menu items. So we've explored, navigate and edit. Some of the texts pertaining to this work are available through the interface. Other texts are specific to individual mappings and so appear only in those mappings. The discussion about media arts and the mobile phone applies to the whole project, so can be accessed from any mapping. I click this and you'll see that in our feedback box here we get some messages telling us that the media arts text is loading. And there it is there. Some of the text have footnotes associated with them. These have been kept on a separate document. So in order to view those, you can see that if I hover over this number 4, a line is created and the linked object is highlighted. If I click, I go to the linked object, and this button here now appears ungrayed, as it allows me to go back from where I came. Likewise for walking and peripatetic art practices texts, the other buttons here allow for playback of the content as it was received. As each one of my images or other content has been delivered from a mobile phone, it also has time and date information associated with it, so at any time I can recreate the walk simply by selecting replay walk. I can pause this at any time, step through it one at a time, or continue from where it left off. You can see in this little text area here, it's showing me the date and the time of the image shown. So I'll stop that now. And let's go back to our God's Eye view. Other mouse functions include double-clicking an object or mapping element. Brings that mapping element to the fore, or put another way, the camera zooms into that mapping element. Selecting several elements, then we can manipulate those elements as a group, even scaling them if we need to. Furthermore, we have a contextual menu for each object. Right-clicking over the object brings up that contextual menu and allows us to move that object in relation to others, front and back, to show any text that's embedded in the object, to edit the text, to fix the current location, and exit. For other elements such as sound and video, the contextual menu will bring up a play audio option. I select play audio, wait for the content to download, and there it is there. Please note that the audio and video content requires that QuickTime for Java is installed. If we look at our main menu up the top here, we have a mappings menu which allows us to select a different mapping, so that will bring up a menu of all the available mappings, and from within the application I can load a different mapping. I can save the layout, so anybody is free to manipulate the content as they please, but in order to save the layout, a password will be required. The cartography text is accessed from here, and importantly, the ability of this application to receive MMS and SMS entries in real time is enabled by this facility here. You can see that our feedback area is saying checking for MMS. This happens at regular intervals. We can turn this off so that no more checking occurs. And lastly, we have a mode for various ways of presenting this application, either as a visitor, a mapper, or in an exhibition mode.